I'd like to welcome you all to our initial meeting of the board, so November 19th, 2024. So I will acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional land of Saugeen and Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by the communities of Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas-Nawash Unceded First Nation. We also think of the Métis Nation, whose history and people are well represented in Bruce and Grey counties. We have received regrets this evening from Trustee Kaikonen, and we welcome through Teams online. We have Trustee Morgan, Trustee McComb, and we also have Trustee Long joining us by telephone. So
yes, I did. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I would like to share a reflection as our board recognizes Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week. Our students, staff, and many others within our school communities do an amazing job throughout the year promoting safe, inclusive, and accepting learning and working spaces in Blue Water District School Board. I would just like to take a moment to acknowledge and share appreciation for those efforts during Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week and all year around. So it's my pleasure today to preside over the election of the chair. And I will begin with putting a motion on the floor, looking for a mover and a seconder, that nominations for the position of chair be open. So moved by, thank you, Trustee Lutz, and seconded by Trustee Johnston. All right, so we'll open that up, and are there some nominations for the position of chair? Yes, Trustee Atkinson.
I would like to nominate Jane Thompson.
And you agree to let your name stand? Yes. Okay. So that was moved by Trustee Atkinson, that Trustee Thompson be nominated for the position of chair. No, that was ahead. All right, thank you. I will call for further nominations. Are there further nominations for the position of chair?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead. Trustee Long?
Trustee Derek Long here. I thought Crystal was going to be reading Janice Kaikonen's nomination. Is that not happening, Crystal?
So, Trustee Long, to be a nominator, you have to be participating in the meeting, of which Trustee Kaikonen is not here this evening, but you people are allowed to self-nominate if they so choose to do so.
Self-nominating, please, requesting a recorded vote.
Okay. So, Trustee Long, self-nominating, so obviously he lets his name stand. Thank you. Are there any further nominations for the position of chair? Are there any other nominations for the position of chair? And I will ask a third time, any other nominations for the position of chair? And I would like to welcome, I see Trustee Ritchie has joined us as well. Welcome, Trustee Ritchie. Okay, so
Informing and requesting a recorded vote, please.
yes, it will be recorded because it will be by ballot.
Thank you.
Okay. It's by ballot, but your name is not on it. Okay,
I'm
so,
sorry, I misunderstand. Will I be able to vote by phone today?
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. So what we allow now, and it's a little bit different in this case because we provide the nominator, in order of nominations, an opportunity to speak to their nomination, and they're given a maximum of 2 minutes. In the case of a self-nominator, that would then be saved because once the person who has been nominated, they then have a chance, an opportunity to speak to their nomination for 5 minutes. So I will turn it first to Trustee Atkinson if you wish to speak to your nomination of Trustee Thompson. If you wish to speak to that. You don't have to. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So then we will go to Trustee Thompson, who can speak to as a nominee for the position of chair. And you have 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. I won't be taking 5 minutes. Everyone knows the work that I have done as chair. But I would like to thank Trustee Atkinson for nominating me. If re-elected, I will continue to carry out the duties of chair responsibly, with integrity, and look to each of you for your thoughtful participation. We provide solid leadership to Blue Water when we make governance decisions guided by our strategic plan, regulations, and policies, always with the focus on the achievement and well-being of every student. It is our responsibility and privilege to support the students and staff of Blue Water District's school board in the schools that are inclusive and accepting of all. I look forward to the Board of Trustees carrying on this important work, and I request your support.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. Trustee Long, I will now turn it to you. You can speak as a nominee for a maximum of 5 minutes.
Thank you for the opportunity to be heard. In running for the position of chair, I believe we need fresh direction. I believe we need to do a better job of holding senior administration accountable and also the school administration accountable. I believe, along with other trustees that share my views, that Director Lori Walker, our director, and all of our team need to demonstrate a deeper and wider willingness to deeply investigate why student achievement is often not up to standard and how to improve that student achievement. We need to do a better job of recognizing and doing something about the negatives while we try to find a way of supporting our students, our staff, and our parents to lead more successful academic lives, and most importantly, to help build, create, and support children. Noting how difficult COVID was over the last 4 years, not only when it occurred, but its fallout, frontline workers are absolutely demoralized. We need to enable them in whatever ways possible to bring respect, control, safety, and a true focus on the 3 R's as we've been led by the ministry recently: reading, writing, arithmetic, and STEM, all of them. Finally, principals, consultants, and support staff, whether it be our educational assistants, our early childhood educators, our custodians, and all other support staff, sadly, do not enjoy the same privilege, rights, and expectations of being treated with respect and dignity by senior administration, sometimes by parents, and most particularly by students. Yet, they are required to exercise this to all aforementioned groups. Can I have a 1-minute warning, please, Chair Johnstone, when I am in my 5th minute, please, Chair? Most of the calls I get are about 2 things, the trustee. Number 1, the bus consortium, which, in my humble opinion, this is just my opinion, to the board, for the board, I think we offer my ideas as trustee Derek Long. I get most of my calls about the bus consortium, who appear to tell parents and Blue Water staff what to do, rather vice versa. The other things I regularly get phone calls about are, why is there not a qualified teacher in front of me? Why is my bus driver of my child, the bus driver of my child, teaching their grade 5 phys ed, their grade 7 English, or their grade 8 French immersion class, and they don't speak a word of French? The Blue Water ship has been sailing in rough waters, in my humble opinion lately, and I believe there may be others that agree with that perception. Again, I'm asking for a 1 minute.
One
warning,
minute,
please.
1 minute warning, trustee Long.
Thank you, Jen. Finally, if I'm expecting the Blue Water Board of Education to do a better job, I need to be a leader in that. To anybody I've offended, hurt, I seek your forgiveness. I make amends. In making amends, we drive through our neighbor's fence, but we just don't say, I'm sorry. We say, I'll be back tomorrow with my lumber and camera. And if my fellow trustees don't agree with me tonight, that's okay. I'm expecting, when this video is seen by many, that the public will come out and support the new initiative that the new trustees, Michael Craig Janice Conan and Derek Long, desire to head in this direction. Where the board directs the direction.
Trustee Long, thank you very much. Your 5 minutes is
Thank you, Long.
completed now. Thank you, trustee Long.
Thank you, Jan.
Okay, so the next step in this is a vote will be taken by ballot. So those that are here, present in the meeting, will be provided a ballot that they can mark, and we have scrutineers this evening and voting assistants, which are Crystal and Superintendent Lowe will be supporting this process. Those that are participating electronically, you will be receiving a phone call from Crystal. So we ask that you mute yourselves now so you can't be heard making your vote. So you provided a phone number that you can share with Crystal, the person that you would be selecting for the position of chair. So while this happens, Crystal and Andy will collect, coordinate, and count the ballots, and they will report back. So we'll just wait while all this happens.
You teed me up for a joke that was completely inappropriate.
Yeah, don't.
No, I would like if you just. Sometimes when you close it, it says.
I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the nominations for the position of the chair be closed. Thank you, trustee Atkinson, seconded by trustee Johnstone. All those in favor? And I would like to welcome trustee Thompson, who has been declared chair and can join me at the head of the table. So congratulations. As Chair Thompson is coming forward, you will have an opportunity to speak if you wish as the chair of the board. And then Chair Thompson will preside over the election of the vice chair. Welcome, Chair Thompson, and congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. I look forward to this year. We have lots of work to do, and we are strong when we work together, and I look forward to us having a good year.
Congratulations, Jane.
Thank you very much, trustee Long. Where are we? I will now preside over the election of vice chair and call the motion to open the nominations. Could I have a mover and a seconder that the nominations for the position of vice chair be opened? Trustee Lutz?
Yes, please.
And trustee Long?
Yeah.
All in favor? Thank you, that is carried.
Yeah.
Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair?
Yeah.
Trustee Lutz? I'll come to you in a moment, trustee Long.
Thank you.
I would like to nominate trustee Johnstone.
Trustee Lutz has moved that trustee Johnstone be nominated for the position of vice chair. Do you accept the nomination? Are there any further nominations? Trustee Long?
Yes, please. I nominate trustee Michael Craig for the position of vice chair.
Trustee Craig, do you let your name stand?
No, thank you. Thank you, Derek, but I, and
Sorry.
thank you, Derek, but I decline.
Are there any other nominations for the position of vice chair? Are there any other nominations for the position of vice chair? And finally, are there any other nominations for the position of vice chair? I see none. So I would like to congratulate trustee Johnstone for being acclaimed as the vice chair. And you can have an opportunity to speak when you move forward. Oh. And I would like a nomination to close the position of, the nominations for the position of vice chair be closed. Trustee Lutz, trustee Morgan, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Congratulations. Would you like to speak?
Thank you very much to trustee Lutz for your nomination, and thank you very much to trustees and of course, everybody who is here in supporting me in the next year. Of course, my role as a vice chair is to be supportive of the chair and also to help our board remain focused on our strategic plan in the upcoming year. And so I thank you very much in your confidence. Bye.
I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that all ballots be destroyed. Trustee Lutz, trustee McComb, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried.
Point of order, please.
Yes, trustee Long?
What then is the purpose of a recorded vote? If they're destroyed and won't be published, or will they?
No, it's the process of this election, that this is a ballot, a secret ballot. And so the ballots are destroyed at the end of the meeting, or at the end of the election.
Thank you.
So our next item on the agenda is the statutory committee appointments. I'm going to invite trustees who are interested in being appointed to each of the following statutory committees to put their name forward. You can indicate that you're interested. If there are more than required, if anyone is prepared to back down, let someone else have that opportunity. Feel free to do so. If not, we'll have an election for those positions. So the first one we're looking for is 3 trustees interested in sitting on the audit committee. Is anyone interested? Trustee Johnstone? Trustee Morgan? And I am interested in this one, but I'm looking to see from... Okay.
Yeah, please.
Trustee Long, you're interested in being on the committee?
Yes, please.
Thompson. So we are at 4 people. Is there anyone that's interested in removing their name from that? I don't see anyone, so yes, trustee Morgan?
I'll remove my name if need be.
Okay, thank you, trustee Morgan.
Thank you, Fran.
Is there anyone else interested, or I'll call this question then? That the board appoint 3 trustees to the audit committee for a 1-year term. And that would be trustee Johnstone, trustee Thompson, and trustee Long. And I'll look for a mover and a seconder. Trustee Johnstone, trustee Craig. All in favor?
Yeah.
That is carried. The next, we're looking for 1 trustee and 1 alternate trustee to sit on the parent involvement committee. Do we have anybody that's interested? Trustee Atkinson? Anyone else? That would be for the main position. We'll go with the main position first, and then we'll look to the alternate. Anyone else for the main position?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
so we have 2 people. Is there anyone else? We'll call it as a vote. And in this instance, it's a show of hands. Okay.
Requesting a recorded vote, thank you.
Okay, so all in favor of trustee Atkinson sitting on this committee?
Requesting a recorded vote, please.
We're doing it. That is everyone, and for trustee Long,
No. Yes, please. Sorry, I thought I was placing my first vote.
okay. Trustee Atkinson has been selected to be the PIC representative, and I'm looking for an alternate. Trustee Lutz? Anyone else interested in alternate for PIC?
Yes, please.
All right, so we will do a vote. All in favor for trustee Lutz to be the alternate? Trustee Lutz has been selected as the alternate. So I'm going to put the motion on the floor that the board appoint one trustee and one alternate to the Parent Involvement Committee for a one-year term. It would be trustee Atkinson as the appointed and trustee Lutz as the alternate. Can I have a mover and seconder for that? Trustee Morgan and trustee Ritchie, all in favor? And that is carried.
Congratulations, Katie and Tracy.
And next is our supervised alternative learning committee, and we're looking for two trustees and one alternate trustee interested in sitting on the supervised alternative learning committee. I see trustee Morgan's hand is up. I see trustee Lutz's hand is up. Anyone else?
Yes, please.
And trustee Long is interested. And we'll be looking for an alternate, but we'll start with the two members to be appointed first. So again, show of hands. First, for three, we'll just do a majority for each. So first, trustee Morgan, all in favor of trustee Morgan sitting on the committee? Okay, trustee Lutz. Thank you. And trustee Long, there was a majority for those two, so they will be the members for the committee. An alternate, trustee Atkinson. Anyone else interested in being the alternate for the supervised alternative learning?
Yes, please.
Okay, again, we'll do a show of hands. All in favor of trustee Atkinson being the alternate? Trustee Atkinson is selected. So I'm looking for a mover and seconder that the board appoint two trustees and one alternate to the supervised alternative learning committee for a one-year term. The two members would be trustee Morgan and trustee Lutz with an alternate of trustee Atkinson. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Trustee Atkinson, trustee Craig. All in favor? And that is carried.
Congratulations, Tracy.
We have a declaration of a student senator tonight. I would like to invite Superintendent of Education Lefebvre to lead the declaration for Student Senator Jacob.
I, Julia Jacob, do solemnly declare that in response to my appointment as the student representative for the BWDSB District School Board, I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of student senator, and I will endeavor to represent the interests of students in the BWDSB District School Board in a corporate and objective fashion, and will participate to the best of my ability in discussion and debate on all relevant matters. And I make this solemn declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is in the same force and effect as the Holy Court.
Bravo, that's not easy to do when you have to be up by yourself to do that one. Welcome to our meetings. We are to the approval of the agenda, that the agenda for the initial meeting of the board of November 19th, 2024 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover? Trustee Morgan, seconded by Trustee Craig. All in favor? And that is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest on any of the items on our agenda this evening? I see none. So we are to the approval of regular meeting of the board minutes from October 15th. That the minutes of the regular meeting of the board of October 15th, 2024 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Trustee Atkinson, Trustee Lutz. Were there any errors or omissions in those minutes? I see none. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. Next, the minutes of the special regular meeting of the board of November 5th, 2024 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Trustee McComb, Trustee Morgan. Are there any errors or omissions with this set of minutes? I see none. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. Approval of the Committee of the Whole Board minutes from November 5th, 2024. That the minutes of the Committee of the Whole Board meeting of November 5th, 2024 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Trustee Morgan, Trustee Lutz. Again, is there any errors or omission with these minutes? I see none. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? We have no delegations this evening, and that takes us to our excellence in education. I would like to invite Director of Education Wilder to speak to this report.
It is my absolute pleasure to bring forward this Excellence in Education report this evening. Blue Water District School Board has won quite a prestigious award given by the Canadian Association of Communicators in Education Award. So this evening we have our communications officer here, Jamie Pettit. He's going to discuss what the award is all about, and the submission was supported by our Student Success Department, and we have Hillary Wackler here with us as well, who's going to talk about the submission. So I'll turn it over to our communications officer as a first point, but I just want to say how proud I am in my role as director that we have been awarded this prestigious award. So I'll turn it over to Jamie.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on this side of the podium to share in this exciting news. So before we get into the award portion, I just want to brief everybody on the association that is recognizing us. So the Canadian Association of Communicators in Education, or CASE as the acronym would be, is actually a coast-to-coast association, about 500 members strong of school boards in all four systems, English and French, public and Catholic, and they even have some representation from post-secondary institutions as well. So a very broad base of education experts in the communications field all across Canada. And Blue Water has been a member of this organization since 2020, and they really are an excellent group that's helped me personally in my role as communications officer in that they provide various webinars and professional development learning opportunities. One of my favorite features that they offer is their CASE mentorship program, which I've participated in 2 years in a row. So it pairs you up with a communications professional from another school board where they provide some mentorship, and just a great way to share best practices and learn some tricks of the trade and whatnot. So one of the highlights of the year for CASE is their annual conference. And this year, actually just this past October, they held their annual event in Calgary, Alberta. And through CASE, they actually have a program called the Bravo Awards program, which is annual. And we thought we'd put our heads together here, and thanks in part to sitting in the audience tonight, our Learning Services Administrator of Student Success, Kim Harbinson, and our Intermediate Senior Technology Coach, Hillary Webler, who's joining me at the podium. We thought that we would highlight our new digitized or digital board-wide course calendar. So this is something that Hillary's worked on over the past year, and it actually is live on our website, and we submitted in the coup de coeur category. So French expression referring to things that someone really likes, according to Google. So basically the criteria for the coup de coeur is that it has to be something that you're proud of as a board. So it could be a single communication piece for its design, the idea, the success of the project. And the really neat thing about the CASE Awards, I should just say, is that it's the only national program dedicated specifically to recognizing excellence in school board communications in Canada. So we were thrilled to get the email a couple of weeks ago that Blue Water was recognized for our board-wide digital course calendar. So Hillary's actually going to provide us with a little bit of a demo. So we'll just kind of do the transition here. And I don't know, Hillary, if you wanted to kind of just mention what the purpose behind the course calendar.
Yeah, so thank you for having me this evening, everyone. The purpose of the calendar was initially to try and modernize and improve the way that parents and caregivers are able to access this information. And I was really passionate about making sure the language was accessible. Oftentimes we as educators get caught up in what we call edu-speak, and not everybody knows what that course code means. So it was a real labor of love for me to make sure that all courses listed in the calendar were listed with their proper name. And then we also wanted to tie back to provincial documents, curriculum documents, make sure that what we were doing was in line with what the province is saying for courses. Again, so parents and caregivers, when assisting their children with helping plan out their courses, they have all that information to help make informed decisions. And then to centralize so that we can have all of our secondary schools together and make it easy to find online. So we'll kind of scroll through. I'm just going to move this a little bit. And I'll give you a bit of a tour. So what I've done is I built this web page on our school board site. It starts with instructions, so it guides anybody using it on how to use it, but then you can minimize. I've created all of this information about the secondary school program, so parents and caregivers can see what are course requirements, but even simple things like what is a credit, because that is another form of edu-speak that maybe we don't quite know, what types of courses are offered, so there's information on those definitions to help embrace that knowledge, and then different pathways information, and then we get into kind of the bulk of the calendar, which is divided by grade level. So we can go in and we have all of our compulsory credits here, so they're the same for every secondary school. You can click this link, it'll take you to the curriculum document. And like I mentioned, we have English, brackets, the level, and then the course code. So very easy to understand, I hope. Then I have elective credits by school. So you would click here, and it will take you to a document that hosts the elective credits per school, and then linked just like the course calendar is linked, so we can kind of make it easily accessible. We're also working on improving information about how students can enhance their learning, so I'm building content on the Special High Schools Major Program, dual credit, co-op, and other programs we offer so students can make the most of their secondary school experience. Thank you so much. That's me.
Thank you very much, Hillary. And I guess you may have mentioned this, but we talk about improving accessibility and efficiency across the system, but there still are the paper-based copies, so we're certainly still honoring that component for those who prefer to receive paper-based as well. So we're really excited. We're going to send a media release later this week just to promote this news, and with that, we'll take any questions.
Thank you. Trustee Lutz.
So first of all, a huge congratulations. This is a wonderful achievement. And looking at it as a trustee and human being, I want to say how impressed I am. And as a parent who is about to go to their grade 9 transition meeting in 2 weeks, I am about to weep with joy. So thank you so, so much. That it looks accessible and wonderful, so thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, trustee Long. Oh, sorry, trustee Long, I missed a student trustee had her hand up first, and then I'll go to you.
Thanks.
I just wanted to congratulate you guys. This is a wonderful reflection of the work you guys do for our school board. And as a student, this is amazing to see because going into grade 9, there were so many questions I had and so many things that I really had to search for and go out of my way to look for, and having it all in one place is so, so helpful, and I know so many people will benefit from it. So amazing job and congratulations.
Go ahead, trustee Long.
Congratulations to all involved in this achievement. Hillary, you use the term "as you speak," similar to edu jargon. My connection's a bit lame tonight. Were you suggesting that the documents have more as you speak or should have less as you speak? Just help me understand that. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your question. Hopefully less. I'm trying to put it in plain language so that it's easy for anyone to understand. And I also forgot to mention, because it's web-based, we can use the built-in translators in most web browsers. So that allows for multilingual families to access the information as well.
Complimentary, Chair?
Go ahead.
If you're the Hillary from Erin Terrace School, hopefully you still play the clarinet well. Hillary, just again, there was praise or achievement for this new program or new initiative, and who was awarding it? Again, I have a weak connection tonight.
It's the Canadian Association of Communicators in Education. So it's a national organization for school board communications professionals.
Thanks.
Trustee Johnstone.
Yes, thank you. It was actually exactly what I was going to ask was about translation. And in thinking about that, because if, you know, what happens in translation, because I often use translation, is that it might not translate how you want it. So I was thinking about pathways, right? Because pathways have a certain meaning, but we're talking about pathways in education. So can you correct with that, or how does that work? You know, because the translation would be like walking along a path, as opposed to, you know, say, work or a trade or university or college or whatever.
Yeah, excellent question. And you are right that some of these translators are not, they don't pick up on context. They are improving day by day with new technology developed, but the hope is that in the context of the rest of the document, we'd be able to piece it together.
Student trustee Powell.
I wanted to ask, and I'm not sure if this is already something that is implemented or has to be implemented, but accessibility-wise, is the website, can it work for somebody who might be not be blind or something of that nature where they need extra help, or can it read it to you as well?
So there are ADOA standards when it comes to internet and even physical buildings, and our website is built to follow that. And then there are additional technologies that a lot of people who are visually impaired might use, like screen readers or things like that. So, a great question.
Just to follow up on that, we've learned a lot about alt text over the past few years, and there's actually a built-in requirement. So if you're posting an image, for example, that you can't save the change without ensuring that you have the alt text in place. So there certainly is that extra level of compliance that you didn't even see like 5 years ago on web platforms.
Trustee Craig.
I'd like to know how this excellent initiative syncs with the work of guidance counselors. I want to be reassured, I guess, that there will also be a personalized intervention for people who might be confused even after they read your superb outline of course availability.
Thank you. It's designed to be a tool for guidance counselors to use as well. So it's to work alongside them and help ease their role as well. Does that answer your question?
Well, I just want to be reassured that anybody who is confused, it might not just be by this document, but more to the point, confused about their moving forward in their life through their education. I trust that we still have enough guidance counselors and that they are really on top of the need to assist students.
Through the chair, if I may, we still have all those folks in our school supporting our students for course selection and otherwise.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Trustee Long.
Hillary and/or Jamie, I assume Hillary, again on that topic of the wonderful achievement of avoiding edu-speak and edu-jargon and putting it in plain language. Is it your perception, or maybe the superintendent's or Director Wilder might help us with this question, and it is quite directly related to the topic. Understanding that frustration parents have with edu-jargon and report cards. For example, grade 1 student Derek demonstrates a consistent willingness to have positive interactions with his peers.
Trustee Long, we're referring to an award of a presentation. That's not appropriate question. I'm going to move along. I am wondering if other boards can use this work and use your work and make this for their own board.
I guess there would be nothing stopping them from pulling inspiration from it. There are other school boards that do have things that are similar on their own existing already. From my research at the beginning of this project, I think a lot of boards are trying to find a way that works best for them for digitizing this type of content. So if someone found inspiration or used it, that would be a great compliment to me.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again. It's a terrific news story. Next is the Committee of the Whole Board reports and recommendations from the Committee of the Whole Board. There's one recommendation that came out of the Committee of the Whole Board from November the 5th. So I'll be the mover and I'll be looking for a seconder. And that Blue Water District School Board approved that Georgian Bay Community School students participate in the Field Trip Pursuits Program, Algonquin Winter Expedition, February 25th to 28th. Moved by myself, seconded by Trustee Morgan. All in favor? And that is carried. And I'd like to invite the Business Committee Chair Johnstone to speak to the report coming out of the Business Committee of the Whole Board from November 5th.
Thank you very much, Chair Chair Thompson. You have the report in front of you, so I'm not going to, bring that information, but so I'm going to put the motion on the floor that came as a recommendation that the Blue Water District School Board approve that students in grades 7 and 8 at High Point Community School be temporarily relocated to Great Highlands Secondary School commencing 2025-2026 until the newly constructed girls' school in Dundalk is complete. I am moving in and I'm looking for somebody to second it. And I see Trustee Atkinson. Now I will speak to that. As you know, we did have an information session on November 5th, that the committee received an update on the 5th on the construction process at the new Beavercrest Community School. And it was also that they also had an information session that happened, and it seemed to be, we seemed to have received positive comments during that, and it was also reported in the press. And so that is the motion that is on the floor. I'm willing to take any questions. Okay, I see none. All in favor? And that is carried, Chair. And my report is done.
Thank you. Was no committee of the whole board in-camera meeting held this evening. Are there any new notice of motion? I see none. Committee establishments and appointments. So first, according to our board policy BP 1108-D Code of Conduct Trustees, it requires us to appoint 2 alternate trustees to act in place of our board chair or vice chair if required under the process outlined in the policy. So similar to the committees that we did earlier this evening, I'll be looking for self-nomination. We need 2 people, and if necessary, we will have a vote. Trustee Atkinson, Trustee Lutz,
Yes, please.
Trustee Long, okay, so again, we will, assuming no one wants to withdraw their name, we'll have a vote. It's a show of hands. First for Trustee Atkinson. And that is carried. Trustee Lutz. And that is carried. And for Trustee Long.
Yes, please.
Okay, that was two votes, Trustee Long, so it's Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Lutz. So I'll be putting this motion on the floor, looking for a mover and seconder that the Blue Water District School Board appoint 2 trustee alternates in accordance with the requirements of BP 1108-D Code of Conduct Trustee, and they would be Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Lutz. All in favor? And mover and seconder, sorry. Trustee Johnstone, Trustee Atkinson, all in favor, sorry. And that is carried. Next, we have a Special Education Advisory Committee representative appointment, and I'd like to invite Superintendent of Education Penner Lipset to speak to this report and recommendation.
Thank you, and good evening. I'll put the motion out. Thank you. So as you see in the report, we are wanting to appoint a new member to our Special Education Advisory Committee, otherwise known as SEAC. And this member, Larissa Allen, is a parent who we actually met at our PIC networking evening, and she showed an interest in SEAC, and she came as an observer to a meeting and would like to put her name forward as a member. Thank you.
Trustees have any questions or comments? I see none, so I'll be putting the motion on the floor, looking for a mover and seconder. That the Blue Water District School Board appoint Larissa Allen as a member to the Special Education Advisory Committee for the remainder of the 2022-2026 term as nominated by the Special Education Advisory Committee. Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Craig, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. And another appointment, I would again like to invite Superintendent of Education Penner Lipset to speak to this report about an appointment to the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee. Go ahead.
Thank you. So again, we have a vacant spot on our supervised alternative learning committee, otherwise known as SAL. We had one of our community partner agencies need to step away, which left a vacancy, and we would like to put forward that Alicia Rosenberg from Bruce Grey Child and Family Services would fill that role with our community partner. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments? Trustee Atkinson?
Just a comment. I've had the pleasure of working with Alicia on SEAC, and I feel she'll be an asset to the SAL committee as she's been presented.
Any other questions or comments? I see none, so I'll put the motion on the floor that Blue Water District School Board appoint Alicia Rosenberg as a member of the supervised Alternative Learning Committee for the remainder of the 2023-2026 term as nominated by Bruce Grey, Child and Family Services, Owen Sound. Trustee Atkinson, Trustee Lutz, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Our reports for information. I would like to invite student trustee Powell to present the student center report.
Hello, I would like everybody to forgive me, I'm coming off a cold, so if I sound a little raspy, that's why. As our secondary school students have now passed midterms for first semester, clubs, events, and school spirit is in full effect. Many of our secondary schools have been organizing mental wellness champion activities within their schools to promote mental health awareness. Bruce Peninsula District School held an anonymous journaling workshop. Washington District held an inclusivity workshop, and Peninsula Shores District School held a stress ball making event. Sports teams throughout our school board had significant accomplishments with our fall sports teams wrapping up for the season, with some heading to Powassa and Asta. Students from many of our secondary schools had a chance to attend the Ontario Student Leadership Conference in Niagara Falls, I believe, at the start of the month. This conference takes place once a year, and students hear from various speakers on how to improve their leadership skills and do workshops with like-minded students from across Ontario. Some speakers, such as Mike Smith, Cheryl Pounder, and Keith Hawkins, shared powerful messages about acceptance and inclusivity. Schools participated in many services on Indigenous Veterans Day and Remembrance Day. Students participated in many services across communities in Grey and Bruce counties. At Owen Sound District and Saugeen District, students heard from veterans who spoke on how their service to the country impacted their lives. Georgian Bay Community Schools music program had an amazing turnout as they played at the local cenotaph for veterans during Remembrance Day ceremony. Having these assemblies allows students to reflect and remember on those who have lost their lives in battle and served for our country. Many schools had Spirit Days during the last week of October to celebrate Halloween. Various events such as pumpkin carving and painting, semi-formal dances, and costume contests took place to get students involved. Indigenous students from Peninsula Shores and Owen Sound District had the chance to attend the Aboriginal Post-Secondary Information Program. This gave students a chance to explore opportunities for college, university apprenticeships, and workplace opportunities after they were done completing their secondary school diploma. Students from John Diefenbaker School hosted a Model United Nations for many secondary schools within our board. And overall, our students have been very busy during this midterm season, but nonetheless, they have made time to continue amazing events and activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do trustees have any questions or comments? I see none. You did a great job. We are to our staff reports, and I would like to invite Superintendent of Business Services, Treasurer Lowe, to speak to this report on our consolidated financial statements.
Thank you, Chair. Just going to set us up here. pleased to present to you tonight the Blue Water District School Board 2023-2024 financial statements. The financial statements package before you was prepared by staff in accordance with Financial Administration Act, supplemented by Ontario Ministry of Education Memorandum 2004 B2 and Ontario Regulation 395-11. So to begin, I'm going to give a quick overview of what we'll be presenting you to you tonight. First, we're going to go through the 23-24 financial statements report and begin with highlighting some of the major financial impacts. Next, we will look at the net operating position and financial statements for PSAS purposes. And you just pull something else up. That was my audit committee report. So I don't want to get into too much detail. We'd be here a lot longer. So included in your board package is the annual financial information that includes the financial report and financial statements for the 23-24 school year. Tonight I will provide you with an overview of the information and look at specific areas of interest from the past year. So the information was reviewed and received by the audit committee at our November 12th meeting and included our external auditors, BDO. The 23-24 financial statement package was prepared by staff in accordance with the Financial Administration Act, supplemented by the Ministry of Education Memorandum 2004 B2. I won't repeat that again. So here's a brief look at the items we will cover, included by some of the comments from the external audit team, represented by Kevin Trimble, who's here with us tonight as the Senior Manager of BDO. The story of the 23-24 financial results is driven by labor-related changes. You'll notice the financial statements that our results for both revenue and expenses are significantly higher than budget and interim report 1. By far, the most impactful change resulted from Bill 124 remedy payments. So to refresh your memory, Bill 124 was passed in 2019 and capped public sector wages to salary increases of 1% per year for 3 years. So through successful appeal, the bill was reversed and newly negotiated rates were implemented and remitted retroactively to the education sector. The dollar value of these payments at our board was over $20 million and covered a 5-year span. At the same time, collective bargaining for all labor groups at Blue Water had been ongoing since the last agreements expired in August 2022. Collective agreements have since been ratified in 23-24, and additional retroactive payments were made, therefore bringing all salary and benefit funding benchmarks to current rates. That said, the budget reflected ministry-prescribed salary provisions and expenses of 1.25% per year for collective agreements, so this resulted in a lesser financial impact to financial reporting on the board. Overall, the results present a stronger financial position that will support the board's long-term financial sustainability. Total assets are up to $399 million. This was largely related to increased capital additions through funding from capital priorities, school condition improvement, school renewal, and infrastructure investments. As part of the budget process, the board continued its commitment to building capital and technology reserves. These financial results have provided the opportunity to contribute $2 million to capital and $1 million to technology reserves, as well as add to our general contingency reserve, allowing the board to continue to fund targeted initiatives set forth in the 24-25 budget and respond to funding changes. Blue Water finds itself in a respectable financial position for the 7th straight year and is well positioned to deal with uncertainty in the future. The consolidated financial position is found on page 5 of the financial statement package. This shows the financial assets, liabilities, and non-financial assets. This is an abbreviated version here that you're seeing. It shows you the year-over-year change for comparative purposes. The board's financial position continues to improve, building on the momentum of prior years and growing the accumulated surplus. Effective management and strong financial responsibility has moved us from a perennial deficit position in 2016-2017, and prior to that, to a surplus position of $44 million. Net increases in non-financial assets is mainly related to a record investment in summer capital projects, funded through capital priorities, school condition improvement, and school renewal, partially offset by disposals and amortization. The decrease in financial assets relates mostly to cash flow, which is essentially just timing. There was a significant amount of cash outflows during the summer for that capital work I mentioned that's funded differently. As well, we did have a pay remittance on August 30th that contributes to the cash flow going out right at year end. Changes to the financial liabilities reflects increases in deferred capital contributions and accounts payable, as well as year-over-year decreases to deferred revenue and long-term debt. So the consolidated statement of operations on the next page shows the revenues, expenses, and resulting annual surplus or deficit compared to the approved budget. As I mentioned, the overarching theme here is the labor-related changes in Bill 124 and collective bargaining. Other reasons for revenue increases, much smaller but from budget, but do include party and partnership funds or PPFs, investments that were announced after budget, higher than projected bank interest, donations, and community use rentals. Additional expenses changes from budget besides the obvious salary and benefit changes include increased needs in special education, resulting in more educational assistance and corresponding supply costs, and inflationary increases to software, transportation, utilities, and maintenance contracts. So the financial report statements and notes to the financial statements provide a fulsome summary of the board's financial results for 23-24. A few highlights I wanted to point out before passing it off to Kevin. Our administration costs remain stable and represent only 2.5% of total expenses. So this ratio illustrates a level of efficiency in our delivering education to our students and ensuring almost all funding is directly related to student achievement and well-being. These are exemplary numbers that generally exceed those of our public sector counterparts. Administration expenses include things such as finance, human resources, corporate services, payroll, purchasing, and our information technology department. Unsupported debt is the debt obligations the board has taken on over the years that is not specifically funded by the ministry. This debt gets paid down over time from grants and flexible funding envelopes like administration. The commitment to this reduction is admirable and contributes to a stronger financial position. So we continue to deplete that balance down to $5.1 million at the end of 23-24. And just some student accommodation measures that we track in alignment with our financial results are shown here. You'll see that the enrollments and utilization rates continue to increase, which results in additional funding and found efficiencies in operations. I also noted earlier that we had a record summer for capital investments. So spending over $21 million on school renewal and facility condition improvements alone. These investments significantly reduce our school renewal deferred revenue balance, which ensures we maximize the funding available to us before the spending deadline of March 2026. So to review, the board's short-term financial position has improved by successfully navigating through the school year and responding positively to funding and enrollment changes. Past decisions to proactively address long-term financial sustainability have positioned the board to adequately support targeted initiatives identified during budget development and respond to opportunities as well as mitigate funding risk. So with that, I'll introduce Kevin Trumbull, Senior Manager at BDO, to provide comments from an audit perspective. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Kevin and the whole audit team that were here for their work and dedication to completing what is essentially a huge audit in such a short window of time to accommodate our timeline and of course the ministry timelines. Welcome again.
Thank you, Andrew. As mentioned, I'm Kevin Tremble. I'm part of the external audit team, and we are from BDO Canada, located in Hanover. We've been busy over the past month auditing the financial statements of the Blue Water District School Board, and we've attached our audit report to the financial statements that get published on our website and submitted to the ministry. So we're going to go over that report, some of the details in there, what it really means. So the very first paragraph in the report is our opinion. So we have audited the consolidated financial statements of the Blue Water District School Board, which comprises of the consolidated statement of financial position as August 31st, 2024, the consolidated statements of operations, changes in net debt, and cash flows for the year then ended. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements of the Blue Water District School Board as at and for the year ended August 31st, 2024, are prepared in all material respects in accordance with the basis of accounting described in Note 1 to the consolidated financial statements. So what that means is we've issued a clean audit opinion. There's nothing we've uncovered during our audit that we can't attach our standard audit report to. So that's what you want to see. The basis for our opinion: we conducted our audit in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards. We're independent of the Blue Water District School Board. It's very important. Part of being an external auditor, that you have that independence, that we're not biased in any of our work being done. And we believe we've obtained sufficient and appropriate evidence to issue our audit opinion. The responsibilities of management and those charged with governance on the consolidated financial statements. So management is responsible for preparing the consolidated financial statements. They aren't BDO's financial statements. We issue an audit opinion on them, but it's Andrew and his team that prepare the financial statements and the disclosures contained within. Those charged with governance, in this case would be the audit committee, are responsible for overseeing the entire audit process. So there are several meetings throughout the year that we develop a plan and convey our results to them as well. And we've gone through that process now. As the auditor, our responsibility and objectives is to obtain reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it's not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards would detect a material misstatement if it exists. I'd like to thank Andrew and his entire finance team for another successful year-end and audit. We really do appreciate the hard work they do in preparation for the external audit team to come in and do our work. They're always done on time, so we have sufficient time to meet these tight deadlines the ministry imposes this year. So that's all I had to present.
Thank you. Do trustees have questions? Trustee Craig.
Yes.
Trustee Craig first, and I'll go to you.
My question pertains to that $20 million hit that we had as a result of the reimbursement to our staff, to our workers, due to Bill 124 being knocked down. I just want to say, I want to extend congratulations to our union partners, because they worked hard to convince the public and ultimately the government of Ontario and the courts that a 1% limit on raises was atrocious and unfair, and in fact was a direct assault on labor rights, the right to bargain appropriately. So I think our union partners deserve a vote of appreciation. My question is, has Blue Water been reimbursed 100% on that $20 million?
Through the chair, thank you for your question. We have, in theory, been reimbursed 100%. There's analysis that we're still doing, and there is some staffing that was funded through other means, whether it be deferred revenue at that time or some other kind of grants that haven't yet been caught up. But for the most part, through our analysis, Blue Water did quite well with the 24 remedy, and we're not seeing any significant gaps. Thank you.
Trustee Long?
Superintendent Lowe, whoops, I'm gonna follow Hillary's advice. No edge jargon. Andrew, you mentioned Bill 124, I think, and did I hear you say that some funding was tied to student achievement, or did I mishear?
I think you misheard.
Say again, please, sir.
Through the chair, I think you misheard Trustee Long. This was just directly a remedy payment funded by the ministry.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Go ahead.
Thrilled to hear about the payback to our unions as they've laid behind senior admin for some time. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Are there any other questions relating to our consolidated financial statements and our audit? I see none. Thank you so much. I do know from the audit committee how much work went into a very short period of time, and I want to congratulate you and thank you for all of the efforts that went into that. Next is our annual banking resolutions. So again, I'd like to invite Superintendent of Business Services and Treasurer Lowe to speak to the report and recommendations. I'll let you speak to the report and then we'll put the motion on the floor.
Thank you, Chair. So in accordance with board bylaws, the board is required at the initial meeting to approve banking resolutions on file with CIBC. As well, approval for the signing authorities for RBC Dominion Securities, as identified by the RBC bylaws, is also required.
Thank you. Are there any questions for?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Trustee Long.
I believe you mentioned RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada. We all know that all of the banking costs are cheaper at credit unions. Is that not a consideration for us, Andrew?
Through the chair, this is for our trusts and scholarship funds that we have been holding in different funds available for our schools for scholarships and graduation awards. That's who we deal with is RBC, Dominion Securities. Every so often we would go out for tender and visit other opportunities, but for the time being, we're happy with the relationship with RBC.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, for example, some of these scholarships are invested, Andrew, with the Royal Bank and gain a few pennies?
Through the chair. Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, I do hope we'll consider better interest rates. There are far better opportunities in RBC to grow our money. Thank you so much.
So I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder for the following motion. The Blue Water District School Board approve the following banking resolutions for 2025. The General Banking Resolution, Certificate of Officers and Directors, and General Borrowing Resolution of $50 million. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Trustee Lutz, Trustee Craig, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried.
For the record, I'm voting no related to losing money on low interest rates. Thank you.
And next, the Blue Water District School Board approves to appoint Director of Education Lori Wilder, Superintendent of Business Andrew Lowe, Chair of the Board Thompson, and Vice Chair of the Board Johnstone as signing officers and directors for RBC Dominion Securities. Could I have a mover? Trustee Roots, seconder, Trustee Craig. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. And next, I would like to invite Superintendent of Education Lefebvre to speak to the online learning report.
Thank you, Chair, trustees, guests. It's a pleasure that I have the opportunity to introduce Cheryl Garland to you. She's the technology-enabled learning teacher contact for the board. She helps us immensely in terms of the work that we do with regard to online learning. It has grown almost exponentially since the time of COVID. We had 12 online credits previously. We are now well past 50 mark, and we continue to grow. There are a number of credits that are available for our students. As you are aware, and we talked about at the last meeting, there is now a requirement for 2 online credits for students who are graduating and getting their OSSD starting in 2023-2024. Charlotte's going to share some things with you, and I believe Kim Harbinson, you were going to come up as
I sure can.
our Learning Service Administrator, Student Success, and Kim has some things to share as she helps to support this part of our portfolio. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening. So the Blue Water District School Board is committed to providing quality instruction as part of our ongoing strategic priority. We are preparing students for the future by offering a wide variety of online courses. PPM 167 outlines that students are required to earn 2 online learning credits for an Ontario secondary school diploma. So as Superintendent Lefebvre mentioned, this graph demonstrates the growth of online courses that we have offered each year. So over the past 3 years, in semester 1, we started with 11 online courses, and this semester we have 21. And then 3 years ago in second semester, we had 13, and then next semester we're going to have 25. So it just demonstrates the need and the demand that we have for these courses. This slide I'm going to take a couple of moments to explain. So this shows us all of the online courses that are currently being offered this semester. So where it says course, that is the course code. So for example, the very first one is the photography grade 11 course. And it says 86% success rate. So what this means is that our Blue Water students that are taking our photography course, 86% of them are passing the course at this point in time. Midterm marks just went out. So this demonstrates that of all of the courses we are offering online, our Blue Water students have a very high success rate right now. So that's attributed to the teachers that we also have and students' hard work in completing the requirements of those courses. Some other information I wanted to share is that Blue Water District School Board is part of the Ontario E-Learning Consortium, which allows member boards across the province to share seats in these online courses. This allows our students to take online courses that we are not offering. During course selection, students will see the online courses that we are offering when they can choose their courses. And if there is a course that they wish to take that is not offered through Blue Water, they would communicate that with their guidance teachers, and the guidance teachers have access to be able to look at all of the online courses being offered across the province. When Blue Water decides the online courses that we are going to offer, Kim will communicate this with secondary principals, and she will have a meeting with all of the secondary principals where they will put forward the names of qualified staff that wish to teach those courses. There are a few stories, good news stories that I would like to share, a couple from teachers and a couple from students about online learning. One teacher reports that she has received emails from students who are happy to have the opportunity to take a broader variety of courses than what their school may have been able to offer. She comments that watching students from all over Ontario work together to learn and engage is extremely gratifying to see. She also believes that online learning is an important tool for rural students to have greater access to courses they want or need in order to be successful in their future. Another teacher commented that he taught an exceptional student in his photography course. The student was traveling with family and was able to put some of their photographs from their travels implement those into the course. The student excelled in every assignment and received very high marks. The student reached out to the teacher for a reference letter to attend the Pratt School of Photography in New York, and the student let the teacher know in the summer that they were accepted into the program. A current student who is taking grade 12 university law has mentioned that this course quickly became one of their favorite courses. The student says that they were a busy grade 12 student juggling demanding classes, an after-school job, and the responsibilities as a student council co-president and co-founder of the Equity Club enjoyed the flexibility that the course offered and allowed them to maintain a balanced schedule while excelling in various other areas of their life. The layout and structure of the law course made it easy to learn and complete assignments whenever the student had spare time, whether during the day or in the evening, during the week or on the weekends. Additionally, the online course gave the student an opportunity to deepen their knowledge in a field that they are extremely passionate about and in which they hope to go on further in the future. Taking the course allowed them to focus on a subject that aligns with their academic interests and post-secondary goals. The content, topics, and assignments were not only informative, but also enjoyable. And one last student story, and this is from a first-year university student who wrote back to their teacher. So the student was a former Blue Water student. They say that as a grade 12 law is a good course for anyone to take who is looking to improve their critical thinking and writing skills to prepare themselves for university. The assignments from the course prepared me for writing papers, learning how to find relevant and credible sources, how to organize ideas coherently, how to stick to a word or page limit, and how to format reference papers. Additionally, they found the information for this course very relevant to the information that they learned in their first year university course. Another aspect of the course that they found helpful was getting used to assignments that were more heavily weighted compared to other courses. She says it can be stressful for first-year university students when they have assessments that can be 30% of their grade. But I found myself less intimidated after doing projects that contributed to a good portion of my final grade, such as the independent study unit. So those are some stories from our teachers and students. One other thing I want to mention is that new this school year, we were able to offer an online synchronous ESL course for our multilingual learners within our board. So we are offering this course both in first semester and second semester, which has allowed our MLS students to connect with each other from the various secondary schools in Blue Water. And the teacher reports that the students are engaged with each other during this online course and are doing very well. That's what I have to share.
Thank you. Do trustees have questions or comments? Student trustee Powell.
Not a question, but a comment. I am taking an online course, and all of the things you have said are true. I love the flexibility. My teacher is great. She's amazing with responding to emails. I know a lot of people have misconceptions of what online classes were, especially since there was a lot of struggle during COVID to get things working. But I think we've kind of perfected it now, and they're really well done. And I've heard that from other people who are taking online courses, it's super flexible and work at your own pace. And for some people that might not be their style, but I think it offers a lot. And again, for students who are in schools that don't offer a wide range of programs, especially if you're looking for something more niche or specific, it's an amazing program. So yeah, good job, guys.
Thank you so much for your comments. It's really nice to hear from students. Student trustee White.
Also a comment.
I myself and many others that I know have been able to do courses thanks to the offering of online. And I'm very happy that there's a lot of work put into continuing developing and offering more courses. Especially, I know many students have been able to achieve mandatory courses for their further education and post-secondary, like biology, for example, especially in like more rural schools like my own, where there's a high demand but very little class space. So I'm very happy, and I hope that you guys can continue putting great work towards this. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Craig, and then I'll go to Trustee Lutz.
Well, first question, sorry, yes. I'd like you to tell me what accommodation is available for students who don't have a computer at home. And in that context, can some online courses be accessed in secondary schools? And I have another question which is somewhat different from that, but why don't we just go with that?
Thank you for the questions through the chair. So we have a one-to-one program for all of our students at 9 to 12. So they have access to a device that is provided through the school. Obviously adequate Wi-Fi and access within schools so that students can do that during the school day. They can access, and it is asynchronous. So anytime during the day, whether it's during perhaps that time when they have it scheduled, or they don't have another course scheduled, they can use that time, or they could any other time during the day they can access their course. Download materials, we do recommend, and I know a lot of people during COVID, they learned they could download content and then they could work on things at home and then bring it back. So when they were back online, then they could upload things and communicate. But again, it is all asynchronous, so there's no expectation that the student is online at a particular time, except for the synchronous MLL course, which takes place during period A, but that is in a school setting.
Yes. Am I up for that?
Supplemental or different?
Different.
You can vote to another trustee in country.
Please, good.
Yes, please.
I was going to go to trustee Lutz, but I don't have control of the...
Sorry.
Trustee Lutz.
Thank you. So, first off, an acknowledgement that I've forgotten when the mandatory requirement comes into effect for online courses. And I'm just wondering, with how they're being offered now, how that will fit when all students need to take them as part of their high school graduation requirements. Thank you.
Great question. So last year they started the mandatory requirement, and we're very pleased. So we also in our department work with guidance teachers, and we talked to guidance teachers from all of the secondary schools, and what they have decided is when the student is ready to graduate, they encourage them throughout their career at high school or secondary school to get their 2 online credits. But for some students, that's either not possible or it's not their way of learning. So what they do in grade 12, when they look through all of the graduation summaries, through the report through Aspen, they'll recognize that the student does not have their 2 credits. And at that point, they can call the student in, and if they're 18, they can sign the form themselves, but if they're not, their parents will sign an exemption letter that allows them not to have those upon graduation. But for the most part, we encourage students throughout their career to get those credits.
I see trustee Morgan, and then I'll go to trustee Long, and then I'm going to go to student trustee Powell.
Madam Chair, I cannot be the only trustee on this board that does not understand what all those letters stood for, or what those courses were. I would request that the trustees have a crash course in what the heck you were talking about as far as the courses that were listed. The other thing I was what success are we talking about? Are we talking about marks? Were these students getting 100% marks, or were 100% of the students completing the work? I'm sorry, but that chart meant absolutely nothing to me. Thank you.
I thank you for your comments, and I'll refer back to Hillary's presentation, and certainly we do try to avoid the acronyms that we use in course codes, and we would be delighted to share some of that information at another meeting if you would like. And then the second component about that, when you saw the 100%, that means that students are passing that course at midterm.
Supplemental?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does that mean that they could be passing with 51%? Or does that mean that I'm still not understanding the criteria? And you don't have to bring it to another board meeting if it was just out in black and white so that we could translate it. It would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. And yes, we're just using the base of 50% as a pass.
Follow up with what Trustee Morgan is saying, would it be possible after the meeting if there was a name put to those codes, just so we could? Okay, thank you. Trustee Long?
Madam Chair, Fred, our presenter, I have a question about teacher-student ratio, whichever of our presenters can answer it, related to online learning. On an average day, during an average hour, or 5-hour school day, how many students is one of our online teachers, who I think is here tonight, sorry for my weak connection, access? How many students are accessing our online teacher? What is the approximate per hour student to teacher ratio, just roughly, during online learning? Any idea?
Thank you for the question. I couldn't answer per hour, but per class, it's 30 students is the maximum that we have in a class, in an online secondary classroom.
So your suggestion is that there's usually 30 students accessing the online teacher most of the day?
That would be a maximum. Per class.
I'm sorry, that would be accurate?
I think, Trustee Long, it's the online classes are limited to 30 students, and so the teacher that is running that online class is responsible for those 30 students.
And all of the classes are full, they have a full enrollment of 30 students, or do some not have a full enrollment of 30 students?
So it's, again, it's 30 is the maximum that we have, and well, it's an average. So I guess you could say if for 30, if someone had 3 classes in a day, they could have on average 90 contacts in that full day. They are asynchronous classes.
Would it?
The far more important piece of data would be how many are enrolled in each class. Not the possible capacity, but the actual enrollment. And I am requesting, very reasonably, that those be provided to trustees at the earliest convenience. I have supplemental, but I'm happy to wait until somebody has theirs.
So, again, the average is 30. We meet the contractual obligations within that we have negotiated with OSSTF, and yes, we're in complete compliance.
I would say similar to an in-person class.
Yes.
Yeah. Student Trustee Powell.
I had a question about the often very long wait lists that are surrounding some of these classes. Is there work being done to offer more classes for these students? Because I know a lot, especially in the smaller schools where those credits are crucial. While it's an amazing program because obviously students can get into them if their schools do not offer that, it also backfires where if they can't get into those courses, they're missing prerequisites possibly. So is there work being done surrounding that or in the future?
Great question. And I can say for a fact, we are working with our Human Resources Department, and where we see a need and a long wait list, they've been very supportive in adding courses. Shiloh behind me works very, very diligently with all the teachers, the guidance teachers who request. And she will go through on every individual student profile to ensure that the student that needs that credit to graduate gets the credit. So she works, I would say, very much daily on providing that information to get the students into the credit. She's working busily now for second semester to get that in fact. We just added 4 more credits for semester 2.
I'll just remind trustees, as a board meeting, we have 2 opportunities for questions. So trustee Craig, this is your last one.
Right. I'm having trouble understanding the logistics, the specifics of the way students interact with the teacher and the program. If there are 15, 20, or 30 students in a particular course, do they interact with the teacher collectively in a Zoom call or a Teams call or something like that, or is it all individualized?
Thank you for the question. I don't mind answering this one. A few years ago, I taught an asynchronous math class online in summer school because we were in need of one more math teacher, and I'm a senior math teacher. So I taught a math class online, and it was quite, it was rewarding. I had to set up a number of different ways and opportunities for students to be able to collaborate with each other. So I could set up work groups where students could work together on a potential problem. I had office hours where I said, if you have a question and you need to ask me in person, then I set up certain times where I was available so they could contact me. Now, because it was during the summer, I set up kind of some unusual times, my own choice, because students were working during the summer, and so I'd offer maybe an evening session where they could call in and then we could answer a question together and work on a question. I would always record those on a video, and then I would post it for other students saying, Johnny asked this question, we went over, this particular problem, whatever, a trigonometry problem, and here's the solution for you. So they could watch it again. I would also record videos and things that I had done for them, lessons that I might teach, the concepts that I felt that maybe they would struggle with. I would post those online, so there was eventually a series of lessons available for them to be able to watch. And I would feel as I continue to do that over time, if I was a teacher that was doing a lot of online teaching, I would probably develop quite the repertoire of resources that I could be offering students to be able to help them in that.
Well, all I can say is it wasn't even, online didn't even exist when I was last in the classroom as a student. So it's a whole new world that you folks are trying to negotiate. Thank you.
I wonder if you could just provide a definition of synchronous and asynchronous.
So synchronous is in real time, and as much as what it can be face-to-face through the computer, so through a Teams meeting is what they would do, and it's scheduled for a time, the same time every day. So the teacher is live in front of the students on the Teams meeting. And that asynchronous is where they're not, it's not scheduled at a certain time. The teacher posts things. They might, as Superintendent Gray said, he might record a video to post, and the students can watch it or interact with the material at their free will, and then contact the teacher when they need.
Are there any other questions?
I'd like my second session, please.
Go ahead, Trustee Long.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair.
Trustee Long, please keep this professional.
And I have a final mention of numbers in the same manner that Andrew knows his numbers worthy of great extent. I'm looking forward to keep learning those numbers on actual enrollments. And finally, if Fran would avoid words like heck, they imply much stronger language. So let's clean up our language and then avoid words like heck that imply that people infer to be a much stronger.
Can you ask your question, please, Trustee Long? Or is that done? Okay. Thank you so much for your...
When will we get those numbers? Thank you.
I'm going to ask if all trustees want that. I would say that that is collective agreements. Those are our numbers that happen in all of the classrooms. They're determined outside of trustee realm. Are other people wanting that information? I'll look for a show of hands for a yes. I do not see that people are looking for that number, Trustee Long, so we'll move on with that. Thank you so much for the presentation. I was very interested to learn, like Trustee Craig, and to understand more about how much was synchronous, how much was asynchronous, and I really appreciated hearing from the students who are participating in these programs and finding them very helpful. Thank you so much. Next, we're to communications, and we had a communication that was sent to you from MP Alex Ruff, and it was in response to the board's January 6, 2024 letter to Prime Minister Trudeau regarding gambling advertisements. And you would have received that on November the 1st, I think. Yeah. And communications and announcements. Are there any announcements? Trustee Johnstone?
Yes, trustees would have received through email last Friday, which would have been, the 15th, from OSPA's communication, that's the Ontario Public School Board Association, that they were telling you there's a webinar coming up free, but you must register. And it is a political climate webinar, and so it's the state of federal politics and connections to provincial education priorities. I thought this was really interesting. It's at 1 hour, it's at lunchtime, you must register, but there's no cost. So this is being a joint presentation or brought together from the Ontario Public School Board and the Alberta School Board Association. And they are co-hosting a virtual federal access session. So this is a unique national offering, and it's open to both our members, boards in Ontario and in Alberta, and as well as the Canadian School Board Association and provincial associations and their respective members. So if you go to that email, you'll get to see who is going to be the presenters, and they're quite, politically, you could say they're quite well known, and I think it'll be a very exciting webinar. So if you're available, you have to register, you just can't join online if you feel like it, but just go there and they will, I believe it's going to be the meeting will be by Zoom. Pardon? It's November, this one is November 26th. Okay. Awesome. Anyway, that's it.
Trustee Atkinson?
I have two things. For those who may not be aware, November the 7th, the town of Hanover was in a boil water advisory, and I just want to say a big shout out to Superintendent Lowers and all the administrators at the schools, and especially to Plant for getting all the water there when it was needed. Smooth transition. That, mind you, the town of Hanover had no bottled water available, but the schools did, and we had a generous donation from a family of water to two of our elementary schools, and it was much appreciated. And I just want to say a job well done. And on the 8th of November, Trustee Lutz, myself, Trustee Johnstone, and Trustee Ritchie, and Superintendent Lefebvre, I don't think I missed anybody, attended the Indigenous Veterans Day, and it was just remarkable. They had a flyby by the Canadian Air Force, 2 swipes around, and it was just a beautiful day. And I've celebrated Remembrance Day for as long as I can remember, but this one was very special and unique, and it was very well done. We had dancing and drumming and music. It was just a wonderful day, and I thank for the, and lunch. Yes, Jan always is about the lunch. And oh, it was free. What I meant is that they provided lunch. Yes, yes, and toques. Toques. We received toques. So it was, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be able to go and share that day with them. Oh, one more thing. You've sat and listened to me talk about Marvin Community School for, I think, 2 years now with their parent council and their fundraising and a little bit of craziness. Last Monday, they actually picked their playground with money to spare, and it was just a really neat moment to see it all come together. And happy moms who will now have new playground, because apparently they used to play on the playground that was there back in the day. So we're looking forward to cutting the ribbon and doing the Normandy welcome. So I'll keep you informed on a date. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tracy. It's quite an accomplishment to fundraise for a playground. They're very expensive. Any other announcements?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Trustee Long.
I just related to Tracy, I just wanted to thank those that give up their personal time to go to weekend conferences or daytime conferences. Thank you so much. And in the spirit of honoring people's medical conditions, my doctors advised me, Chair, that to help manage my anxiety disorder, I should sing whenever I feel necessary. Please don't ask me to disobey my doctor's orders again. And finally, on Tracy's wonderful topic of honoring our veterans, I was stunned to hear from 6 constituents that 1 student trustee and approximately 3 trustees and senior admin wore a poppy at the November 3rd meeting, which I was unable to attend. That shocked my constituents. That shocked me. We will need to do better next early November 1st.
Trustee Long, I can tell you that many more people than that wore a poppy, and I think if you were here, you would have seen that. Are there any other announcements? I see none. Are there any out-of-district meetings, conferences, or conventions to share?
Am I able to share what is happening in January, please?
All the trustees are aware of that, Trustee Long, so we'll leave that for now. And the calendar of events has been provided. Trustee Long, I'm moving along. The calendar of events has been provided for your information. As always, double check to make sure the dates are correct. And if you've been appointed to a new committee, double check that what dates the meetings are on. I would like a mover and a seconder that the Blue Water District School Board adjourn at 8:55 p.m. Trustee Lutz, Trustee Grace, and we're adjourned. Thank you.